at this new moon, there are deep messages to uncover because this new moon in Pisces is asking us to become curious about our shadow and dig deeper, gain more clarity around what we have been hiding from ourselves and others. And the power in doing so to gain more clarity around our shadows is that it's an opportunity to transmute that into a higher vibration. And that's what we're doing here at the Pisces new moon. Are you curious about your own galactic alignments? Download my Galactic Alignments Reference Guide. There's a link in the description box below. Welcome to New Light Living Podcast. I'm Ulrika Sullivan. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach and a galactic astrologer. This video is a galactic astrology reading of the Pisces new moon at 9 degrees 40 minutes on February 27th, 2025. Welcome. What I do in these videos, I put an outer layer of fixed stars, celestial bodies, and galactic points to the traditional Western tropical astrology wheel. And that is to help us relate to a bigger perspective of not just ourselves, but the universe and the solar system and beyond our own solar system too. So I welcome you to this reading. What you'll receive here are 3 galactic energetic themes that I've pulled out from the Pisces new moon chart. And also at the end, I'll give you 3 questions should you want to integrate this Pisces new moon energy some more. This new moon is in square with the Stargate of Antares and Aldebaran, 10 degrees of Sagittarius and Gemini respectively, and also in square with the star cluster Hyades, and specifically the fixed star Ain at 8 degrees of Gemini. We also have a square to Jupiter at 12 degrees of Gemini, but it's not exact, but Jupiter is having a strong influence on the expansion of energy at this new moon. The ruler of this new moon is Neptune, conjunct Pegasus constellation and the fixed star Scheat at 29 degrees of Pisces. And Neptune is almost at the anorectic degree of 29 at 28 degrees and 51 minutes at this new moon. So Neptune is going to guide us into the uncharted territories of the 29th degree. So this new moon is definitely one to pay attention to because our subconscious is activated. Neptune is still conjunct the North Node at 27 degrees of Pisces, conjunct asteroid Psyche at 27 degrees of Pisces as well. This is a powerful placement and guidance for the future. The North Node is guiding us ahead. And asteroid Psyche, and Psyche we're going to talk about more in the second galactic energetic theme that's coming up. All planets are direct now between February 23rd and March 1st, when Venus is going retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries. And at that degree point, 10 degrees of Aries, we are going to have a solar eclipse on March 29th. So Venus is making a statement a few days later when she goes retrograde. And that's also a time here at the end of February where we have momentum and clarity. So at this time, at the Pisces new moon, we may feel that we are getting even more clarity and forward movement and progress on things that we have been seeking in the dark, seeking in the unseen, and we're going to feel that we're preparing for the next level. This new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees is the 5th new moon in a row at 9 degrees. And the last one will be the solar eclipse end of March here at 9 degrees of Aries. So if you're curious to dig deeper into these series of new moons at 9 degrees, I created a extra video for the member level at the galaxy level around this topic of this series of 9-degree new moons. So if you're curious about that, go check that out and become a member at the galaxy level. The shadow is often where we suppress our dreams. And we are having often in a conversation that, nah, this is not possible. My dreams are not possible. Or we even store things that we want to forget. This new moon is a opening that's square to the Stargate that we're going to talk about more in energetic theme number 1 coming up, an opening to this growth of becoming more clear about and getting into awareness more, and also gaining more awareness around our shadow. Because in that space of the shadow, we also have another thing, and that is the opportunity for a different perspective. That is the ultimate potential to transmute our wounds into wisdom. And that is very much a theme around this Pisces new moon. And the shadow and the unseen often houses potential, that deep potential that lies in the dark, and also opportunities for alternate existence. And that's what we're working with here at this Pisces new moon. Because also, if you look at our planet, the deep wisdom that lies in the dark, deep below the surface of the earth, this is also, it is in the dark where this planet, our planet Earth, is housing wisdom. And that's what the level of darkness that we often need to go into within ourselves as well to find that potential and the truth of our dreams. So do you have a dream? Something that may not have been coming into form yet. This is what we're working with here. Our dreams, the potential, the deep, deep wisdom that lies within and lies deep within our planet Earth. And here we have at this new moon, Uranus, which is the only planet in Earth element at this new moon in Pisces, is helping us to channel and ground this dream state. And the dreams that we may not have been in contact with yet, that are so much bigger than what we have ever imagined. Uranus is the galactic awakener. At this new moon, we're working so much with the subconscious, and Uranus is supporting us here to ground this galactic wisdom. Before we dive into the new moon chart, I'd like to share what the galactic energetic themes are. The first theme is open to the dreams within. And here we're going to talk more about the new moon and the Stargate, the square to the STARGATE Aldebaran and Antares. We're also going to talk about the star cluster hiatus in this context. The second theme is through the shadow into light. And here we're going to talk about Orion constellation and the fixed star Scythe, and also the asteroid Psyche conjunct the North Node. The third theme is transmuting ancient wounds to wisdom. And here, this is a very exciting theme, I feel, because we have a powerful spiral energy that I'd like to discuss. And we're going to include the dwarf planet Makemake, the true Lilith placement, asteroid Hopi, and asteroid Eros in this discussion. And here I also have created an extra video for the member level at the galaxy level to expand this discussion about this powerful spiral energy that has the potential to transmute wounds to wisdom at this new moon in Pisces. All right, let's dive into the new moon chart next. So here we have the new moon chart, and here we have the new moon at 9 degrees and 40 minutes in Pisces there. And the square I highlighted to Taurus Aldebaran there at 10 degrees of Gemini, and also a square to Scorpius Antares at 10 degrees of Sagittarius. Hiatus Ain is at 8 degrees of Gemini, and I consider that also a square. Now we have Jupiter there at 12 degrees, 12 minutes, also in the vicinity. And I include Jupiter as part of the square energy because I feel that Jupiter is such a strong influence at this time, helping us to expand our experiences. So yes, this is a new moon with a square. And if you recall, there was a new moon in Sagittarius conjunct Scorpius Antares back in December 1st, 2024. That new moon was conjunct Scorpius Antares at 10 degrees of Sagittarius. And now here we are at the square. Think about how you have expanded your perspective of multidimensionality since we were called at that new moon in Sagittarius to consider this expansion. And now here we are in Pisces, this invitation to expand our subconscious, to help transmute wounds that we have and are carrying from ancient times into wisdom. And this square is often this invitation to expansion even further. Here we have the ruler Neptune in a very potent position at this time at 28 degrees 51 minutes in Pisces. Now, in very shortly, Neptune is going to travel into the 29th degree of Pisces. And that's really significant. A culmination, that's the last degree of the zodiac. And yeah, so Neptune is going to reach a peak here in the next coming weeks as Neptune then moves into Aries on March 30th, 2025, right after the solar eclipse. So yeah, these coming weeks are very potent. And Neptune here is conjunct Pegasus-Scheat, which we have talked about as a fixed star in the past. But just as a reminder, Pegasus-Scheat is associated with this expansive liberation energy. And this is a signature of this time, a signature of liberation and breaking free, the white-winged horse, freedom. And here at this new moon, we also have asteroid Psyche conjunct the North Node at 27 degrees of Pisces. The highlight of the sign of Pisces is going to be emphasized and highlighted even more as we move forward the next coming weeks. And the signature here is really Pegasus-Scheat's influence on us through that archetypal energy of liberation. So we have the new moon highlighting all of this, and Saturn is already in Pisces for a while. We have Mercury, the North Node, and Neptune, and also Venus is going to retrograde into Pisces also as we go. So let's take a look at the first theme that I've called Open to the Dreams Within. So here in the first theme, we're going to dive a little deeper into this square of the Stargate, but also the emphasis on the sign of Pisces and the fixed star Pegasus-Scheat at this time. So the sun is going to square Jupiter all the way until March 5th. So the effects of this new moon in Pisces are really prolonged all the way until March 5th. So with this focus on the sign of Pisces and Venus's retrograde back into Pisces on March 28th, it's the day before the solar eclipse, we will have a ultimate focus on the sign of Pisces at the end of March with Venus, with Mercury, with Saturn, with the North Node, and also with Neptune, of course. So this new moon in Pisces is really the kickoff for this solar eclipse effect. So what does it really mean, this expansion of multidimensionality and the influence of the Stargate now in square with the new moon in Pisces? It has to do with us expanding our perception of what's possible, and often it becomes a potential through dreams that we have. Dreams and desires are long-held potential by our soul. And this is also something that we are meant to come deeper into contact and clarity with at this time. Here we have the Stargate on the sky map here, and Aldebaran at 10 degrees of Gemini here, a very prominent royal fixed star that has to do with the energy of leadership, of courage and responsibility. taking responsibility for our dreams to come into form is a way of transmuting ancient wounds that we are carrying, because so many dreams of our ancestors in the past have not been fulfilled. And here we are with that newfound potential within ourselves, that we are taking it further to the next step. And then we have Antares, another royal star at 10 degrees of Sagittarius, associated with energy around resilience and strategy, ambition, and keeping that dream alive. So here at the Pisces new moon, we're asked to come into clarity and connection with our dreams that sits in the subconscious, because now we are ready to expand. Now with the square going from December 1st to now, from a conjunction to Antares back then at the new moon in Sagittarius, to now where the square is really helping us to open that door to our dreams within. So here I have included also Aldebaran and the Hyades star cluster, so that you can see how they're connected, and also the proximity there to Orion's belt and also the Pleiades star cluster. Hyades is associated with creativity, infusion of life force. And the particular star that is in square with this new moon is Hyades Ain there at 8 degrees of Gemini. Hyades Ain particularly is a very feminine archetypal energy, and has to do with elegance, with style, and how we can use creativity to come into contact with our deepest passion and desires. So with this prolonged effect of this square of the new moon to the Stargate, we have an opportunity to spend time to go within, to really connect and gain more clarity around what our dreams are. And take a look at your own chart. Where is 10 degrees of Sagittarius, 10 degrees of Gemini, and 9 degrees of Pisces? Because here, around those degrees, if you have a sextile to the Stargate, for example, if you have a conjunction to one of the royal stars of the Stargate, for example, or if you have a square to any of these points, it can be a opportunity to either flow with something that you have already started so that you can complete it and bring it into form. Or if you have a square to one of your personal planets, for example, that is the sign to now is the divine timing to expand into getting more and deeper clarity around what your dreams are. There is a runway here this upcoming month to bring that dream out in the physical plane. Once we come into the solar eclipse in Aries at 9 degrees, all the spotlight is going to be on ourselves. Aries is a very self-projected sign. So we have an invitation to go deep the next couple of weeks and link back to our deepest desires and dreams and unearth them. Use the symbolism of wisdom, because it is wisdom that we're uncovering. All right, let's take a look at the next energetic theme that I've called Through the Shadow into the Light. So in this energetic theme, we're starting with this trio here in Pisces: Neptune at 28 degrees, asteroid Psyche at 27 degrees, and North Node at 27 degrees of Pisces, conjunct Pegasus-Scheat at 29 degrees of Pisces. There is a square here to the Orion constellation, in particular the fixed star Scythe at 26 degrees of Gemini, that I want to highlight here in this theme, because Orion Scythe is associated with transmutation of wounds, of negativity, of toxic energy. We're also going to dive a little deeper into asteroid Psyche's conjunct the North Node there at 27 degrees of Pisces. Before we go into diving into this square, I'd like to highlight Mercury. And Mercury's journey is significant at this time, delivering messages, because Mercury was conjunct Saturn 2 days before this new moon on February 25th. And now Mercury is on his way to be also conjunct the North Node and Neptune as we go. And more exact, Mercury will be conjunct the North Node on March 1st and Neptune on March 2nd. So this is a delivery of messages, and that conjunction with Saturn on February 25th before this new moon really was to gain some lessons to be delivered for the future direction, the conjunction with the North Node and Neptune later on here, a few days after this new moon. And Mercury is also connected to Uranus, because Uranus is the higher expression of Mercury. And also the higher expression of Uranus is the dwarf planet Makemake. And I pulled in Makemake, and we're going to talk about Makemake also in the next energetic theme that's coming up next. So the messages that are delivered here around this new moon is also connected into that galactic dream, those multidimensional influences and downloads that we may receive when we have such emphasis on the sign of Pisces in the next month here. So let's talk a little bit about Orion's Scythe here at 26 degrees of Gemini in square with the North Node and asteroid Psyche at 27 degrees of Pisces, because this square is really important in terms of the messages that are coming through and the invitation to expand that we are getting here at this new moon. Orion's Scythe is associated with transmutation, natural transmutation of toxicity, negative energy, and for the benefit of opening up a clarity to gain more wisdom and opening up to that pure, innocent part of ourselves. Orion's Scythe is often in the natal chart associated with where we have been hiding truth from ourselves. But also, I've also in readings had clients who have Orion's Scythe natally or have soul incarnations associated with Orion's Scythe. And the soul records of those clients often indicate that there's a natural ability to transmute negative energy. And that is also a gift for those who have Orion's Scythe in their chart, whether it's conjunction or sextile or trine or opposition. If Orion's Scythe is prominent in your chart, you may have this gift naturally. And then we have asteroid Psyche. Asteroid Psyche was discovered in 1852 and is the archetypal energy of the soul, the understanding of the soul and its depth. Asteroid Psyche often helps to show us what is eternal about ourselves. So it is very expansive energy associated with that Psyche placement. And the conjunction here to the North Node suggests that we are asked to look at our eternal parts of ourselves, our soul essence, to come into connection with that direction forward. And where does your asteroid Psyche, where is it in your natal chart? And is there a aspect to the transiting asteroid Psyche at this new moon in Pisces? That's curiosity to explore your own natal chart in that way, because asteroid Psyche reveals those eternal parts of ourselves, our soul, and what we are meant in this life to pay attention to when it comes to our next direction, especially around this Pisces new moon. And I pulled in also, since Psyche is in Pisces here. It's a watery sign, right? So Pisces has to do with our intuition, and asteroid Psyche may suggest at this time in transit in Pisces that our soul is really also connected to our intuition and the element of water. So this square of Orion Scythe and Psyche and North Node here in the sign of Pisces and connecting that with the sign of Gemini, this is an invitation to work with and expand by getting deeper into awareness of our shadows. And the intention to transmute those shadows often comes from the shifted perspective of our shadows and how we can raise our vibration with a different perspective of our shadow. But first, it takes courage to come into contact and sit with that awareness and to give it an opportunity to expand into a higher vibrating energy. So this is the time where Pisces, the sign of Pisces, is going to be very emphasized the next coming weeks. So this is an invitation to allow our influence from Orion Scythe to help us to transmute our shadows. And Jupiter will transit into this degree of 26 by Jupiter being there, emphasizing this degree of 26 of Gemini around 23rd of May to 27th of May. So yeah, it's an exciting time we're in. And now we have the opportunity to intentionally work with our shadows at this Pisces new moon. So next, let's take a look at the third galactic energetic theme that I've called Transmuting Ancient Wounds to Wisdom. So here we have the third theme that I've called Transmuting Ancient Wounds to Wisdom. And here we're going to take a look at Venus at 10 degrees of Aries in opposition to true Lilith at 10 degrees of Libra, conjunct Makemake, the dwarf planet Makemake at 11 degrees of Libra at this time. So this opposition is very interesting because we have Venus preparing to go retrograde on March 1st, and we have Lilith, which is representing the darkness, right? The shadow, the unrestricted, wild part of ourselves. And she is in retrograde here. So it is also an invitation from Lilith here to go within. And Makemake is the dwarf planet that has to do with systems consciousness. Makemake's desire for putting a system or a structure to consciousness is very much linked into also ancient wisdom and how ancient practices were made and applied. So here in Libra, Makemake in Libra is very much how we can come together and work together as a team, perhaps through a ritual of ancient character. So this combination of true Lilith and Makemake in Libra here, opposite Venus, is very much this energy of how we can work together on our shadow. So this invites us to also not just feel that we are alone with our shadows, but it's actually most of the time that our shadow is played out in relationships. So we're invited to transmute these wounds through relationships. And if we look at it from a higher perspective, a bigger perspective is that dynamic is also what Venus in retrograde is going to highlight for us. But there is more because we have a grand air trine with Makemake and Lilith there, and Jupiter at 12 degrees of Gemini. And I would say also the Stargate here is involved at 10 degrees, the Aldebaran Antares 10-degree axis there, with Jupiter emphasizing it and expanding it. We also have two asteroids here that I want to highlight to you at 8 degrees of Aquarius conjunct. at this time, and that is asteroid Hopi and asteroid Eros. So this generates a very interesting link into a energy of connecting with ancient wisdom, connecting with our unrestricted part of ourselves that often houses our dreams, but also in connection with our dreams, often behind that sits our wisdom. So let's break this down a little bit more through these archetypal descriptions of these asteroids. So we have Lilith here that is a really a rebel energy, and it's a deep rebel that is sitting within every one of us. Everyone has our true Lilith somewhere, and if you haven't looked up true Lilith, it may be a very primal energy within you. And we also have Maki Maki in conjunction with Lilith at this time in Libra, suggesting to us that we have messages. Maki Maki, as we talked about earlier, is the higher expression of Uranus, and Uranus is the higher expression of Mercury. So we have this trail of messaging. And Maki Maki is really at the consciousness level that is much higher than even Uranus, that is more of a electric, galactic energy sometimes. Maki Maki speaks to that ancient wisdom of the universe that we are invited to get in contact with, and often through ritual or a system that helps us to ground this wisdom. In Aquarius, we have asteroid Hopi and asteroid Eros conjunct now at 8 degrees of Aquarius. And when these two archetypal energies come together, it suggests also that Eros, for example, is that ultimate desire, that passion within ourselves. And asteroid Hopi is an archetypal expression of this ancient indigenous wisdom that is coming through. And in the first decan here at 8 degrees, it's very much through the physical plane. And for us, that is planet Earth. And just as a little extra tidbit here, in myth, asteroid Eros and asteroid Psyche were a couple. And this archetypal energy, since Psyche is quite emphasized at this new moon in Pisces as well, together, those energies are really that spark that is instigating a passion, a dream, a deep desire within. A deep desire within that propels us to get to know ourselves better through the heart. So asteroid Psyche and Eros, even though they're not in aspect really here at this new moon, but since they're prominent together as archetypal energies in this chart, this might be also something that is initiated now, this desire to get to know ourselves better through our passions, through our desires, through our dreams. So what do we make out of all of this? I spoke earlier about that there is a spiral energy present here at this Pisces new moon, and I'm going to show you a very busy chart next. So here we go. So yes, this chart is super busy, but there is a connectivity between each sign here at this new moon in Pisces at about 7 to 10 degrees of each sign has a connection, and that creates this spiral energy that is super powerful, a transmutational energy. And I've created an extra video for the members only area of my YouTube membership, where I'm going to dive into this and unpack this swirling spiral energy. And as you can see, we have a number of constellations involved here and placements of this new moon. And if you're curious, join us at the galaxy level in the YouTube membership and explore this with me some further. And the relevance here of this spiral energy to this new moon is really through the square with the Stargate, but also the opposition with Draco Tuban. And we're going to talk much more about that in the members only video at the galaxy level. So I hope to see you there. Yes, this energetic theme is super powerful, transmuting ancient wounds to wisdom. And this is suggesting that Venus's path here going retrograde on March 1st, just a few days after this new moon, is also a key part of this initiation of this swirling energy. And in opposition to Lilith and Maki Maki there, both in retrograde, suggests that we are asked to go within, to connect with that ancient wisdom that is behind the wounds that we may be carrying from ancient lineage way back. And the grand air trine, supportive energy, yes, between Maki Maki Lilith and Jupiter and the Stargate, but also with asteroid Hopi and asteroid Eros, speaking to us that behind these wounds lie a passion, desire, and dreams that we came here to fulfill. So I invite you to take a look, especially where you have asteroid Eros in your chart, because Eros is often the instigator to that passion behind our deepest desires. Should you want to integrate this Pisces new moon energy some more? So the first question is, what are some of the dreams that you have? Are you clear on your biggest dream in life? Here we have an opportunity to go deeper. How can you gain more clarity at this time? What is that one little step that you can take towards your dream now and a couple of weeks now into March until the solar eclipse? The second question is, what is it about this dream of yours or dreams that are unclear? And often we are looking through a lens that is much too narrow. So how can you expand your lens into a bigger perspective on that dream of yours or multiple dreams? What is that bigger perspective? And in Pisces, notice the signs. Look at where asteroid Psyche is in your chart. Utilize that connection with your soul in the sign and the house where you have your natal Psyche. But also look at where you have 26 degrees of Gemini, where Orion's scythe is. If it's close to or in conjunction or having an aspect to one of your personal planets, you may have a natural gift for transmuting a negative energy. And that is also, you're meant to use that in some shape or form in this life. The third question is, how can you tap into that dream through creativity? And here it often happens so that creativity comes to us when we're ready for it. And this is a opportunity for you to let go of the grip of expectations or how it could be done or should be done, all of those things, and just let it flow and come to you. You're invited to let go and just allow yourself for maybe a couple of hours or a whole day to follow the flow of your own rhythm and see where that takes you, under the intention that you want to tap into that dream. And let's see where this is taking you. Experiment with a couple of hours, or let's say even a day, of no must do's or must haves. And let's see what happens. Creativity helps us access our wisdom, and especially creativity that is unrestricted. Unrestricted creativity is when we put no boundaries to it, no rules, no expectations of an outcome, and just allow that energy to flow with us and see where it takes us. So good luck with that. I can't wait to hear from you in the comments about your creativity and that little experiment. If you're curious about the members only videos, including the 9 new moon video that is available to members at the galaxy level, and also the new spiral video where we talk about the whirlwind or spiral energy, where we have transmutation energy from wounds to wisdom. I explore that in a members only video that you have access to as a Galaxy member in my YouTube membership. I can't wait to welcome you there. And thank you everyone who's joined so far. If you're someone who's resonating with my videos in this membership, you'll find yourself amongst others who are also resonating. And together we learn more about galactic astrology, our multidimensional self, and together we go deeper. Inside this membership, you will find 3 levels that you can choose from. So what are the next steps? Select a level that suits you now. Everything that's new on this channel will be coming up in your feed amongst everything else that you've subscribed to. So you don't have to do anything to receive the member-only content. So enjoy it. I hope to welcome you inside the membership. We're having so much fun. I love interacting with everyone, and I can't wait to learn together, explore more in depth of these times we're in. So enjoy this Pisces new moon. A lot of potent energy in the unseen here in the sign of Pisces at this time, and we're going to work with this energy for at least the next month. Are you curious about your own galactic alignments? Download my Galactic Alignments reference guide. There's a link in the description box below. Next video is the lunar eclipse in Virgo, and I can't wait to share that video with you. But until then, take care, and I invite you to work with the questions, since this Pisces new moon is extended in terms of its influence. So thank you very much for listening and watching New Light Living podcast. I'm Ulrika Sullivan. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach and a galactic astrologer. Visit me on ulrikasullivan.com or my link tree. There's a link in the description box below if you're curious about what I offer. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. Bye.